Do you like Commander? Do you like Magic the Gathering? Do you like playing Commander? Are you interested in getting into Commander? Or have you just been trying to continue playing it, maybe trying to get better, things like that? Well, welcome today to MTG Tips and Tricks, how to play Commander. I think this is part 8, if I remember correctly, if my number's correct. And so we've been going through trying to give you different ways of improving, getting better at Commander, things to make your deck better, how to build your deck, all of these different things, because we want to help you get better at Magic the Gathering. One of these different formats, Commander specifically, we've talked about Standard, we've talked about a few other formats as well, but Commander specifically is a lot harder to break down because there's a lot more components that go into it. And today, we're going to talk about how to get better at Commander. Getting better at Commander. Because, look, here's the thing. As you play the game, you want to get better, typically. And typically, as you play the game, sometimes you want stronger and stronger cards. Not all the time you want to go all the way up. Sometimes you just want to stay pretty casual. Some people stay on that very casual. But a lot of times, even still, you're going to push some of your harder and stronger cards in there. So how do you get better at Commander? When you get better at Commander, you just got to play it more and more. You got to play different commanders. You've got to play different decks. You've got to play against different type of decks. Because, honestly, there are hundreds of thousands of commanders you can have out there, and people build them all differently. There are some commanders that when you see it, you kind of know this is probably what that person's going to do, unless they change their mind. They're all going to say, oh, no, I built it differently, but then Atraxa is still going to poison you out or run Super Friends. But here's to Atraxa. But how do you get better at Commander? A lot of times it's just getting out there and playing. The best way, realistically, is this, though. Don't go too fast having too many different decks when you first start out. Honestly, 1 to 2 decks tops at the beginning is very, very helpful. So you can focus on learning how those decks play. You can know the ins and outs of the decks. And specifically, really just stay with that one deck so you can learn how does this deck work? What am I supposed to be looking for when I go look for cards? How am I trying to win the game? What are my spells to cast to help me win the game? What is helping me to do better? And then what can I add in here to make the deck better? If you play multiple decks, when you first start out, you have like 6 or 7 decks. The problem is you're going to learn the basic of the decks, but you're not, unless you're playing like hundreds of games every day, you're not going to know exactly how that deck fully functions as well. Honestly, another way to get better Commander is just to goldfish. I'm going to say goldfish basically means you play by yourself. You either go through the deck, you can even do it online. If you put your deck list in on like a Moxfoot or whatever, you can actually play. Get test hands, play through it, and just kind of practice your deck so you can kind of get the idea of what you're trying to do, how you're trying to get it out there. That is really a good way to do it. Granted, goldfishing isn't the best way, but goldfishing gives you an idea of how your deck should function. I do it with almost every deck that I build. I will goldfish just to get an idea of how does the deck function, how does it work, did I put enough card draw in it, did I put enough ramp in it, or do I need to add some lands, take lands out, what's going on, how does this deck work? Gives you a chance to get that in. But the more you play the deck, the better you're going to know that deck. How the commander works, the best ways to when to cast your commander, when not to cast your commander, what you want to do. Because every deck runs differently. So every deck has different strategies and different themes and things like that. So if you're like needing a bunch of tokens, maybe you don't cast your commander till you have your token engines going. But maybe you learn that early on, because here's the thing, removal is the key thing. People are going to remove your commander, and then you're going to have to pay 2 extra. And if your commander's expensive, it's hard. So you've got to know when is the time right to cast my commander, when is the time right to cast these spells. Because sometimes you don't just straight up go cast the spell. You look over and see a player with 2 blue mana, and you're like, this guy's countered a bunch of stuff. This is my key spell. Maybe I try to bait him out of it and try this spell, then to that spell. You have 2 good spells. And then you can learn how to add cards to the deck. So get better at Commander. It just takes time. It takes working and playing. I'm still learning. I'm still, I lose a lot. I still make mistakes. I still miss triggers. And the way to get better is just continue to play. I play up to CDH level now, and I've got there because as I've gone, I wanted to add more and more cards, and I realized for the longest time that CDH is fun. I realized I watched the videos of it, and I was like, this looks actually fun, and I have most of the cards for this one deck. Let me jump in here and play it. And the nice thing is the deck that I first played was Kinnan. I have had Kinnan since I started Magic, basically. Since I got into Commander, it was like one of the first decks I built early on, and so I have watched it grow and know the ins and outs. So it helped me when I came into CDH because it's a little different level, but I at least know what's in my deck, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning CDH. CDH is a whole different beast. If you're first getting into Commander, honestly, wouldn't recommend CDH right off the bat. You get to know the basics of decks and how things work. But if you've already maybe been in competitive Magic and you're just getting into Commander, yeah, go jump right into CDH. It's a lot faster of a format. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot to learn, and you get better by playing different decks, playing different levels. So you may end up playing a deck that's stronger than yours. It's actually also cool to learn how to play your deck against well, maybe, and it's not you're doing it on purpose. You should never do this on purpose. It was an accident. Maybe you came in and everyone's talking about their deck. And you think, oh, I think this deck fits. And then you realize, oh, wow, this deck maybe is a little bit stronger than what everyone was running, or you just get this really, really good hand. Well, then you can learn, okay, I'm not necessarily going to just run everything out and just try to win on turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. Everyone else is still like got tap lands and all this stuff. And I'm over here with like, all right, I could have all this mana. Sometimes you go slow, especially if you got newer players, different things like that. You don't have to rush all your stuff out. Just play the game, have fun, enjoy it with them. You learn by losing. So after you play a match, go back in your head, think about it. Be like, okay, what could I have done better? Did I make a mistake? There are times after I've played a game, I sit back and I'm like, I could have won that game. And I go back through and I'm like, I missed this play. I could have done this, or I could have done this better. And you kind of go back in your head and you think about it. You know, now if you're playing online, you want to record your games, you can do that. Most people don't have time to go back and analyze every aspect of your game, but you can sit back and be like, okay, okay, I could have played this better. I could have done this better. I should have done this instead of this. Okay, I used my removal spell on a 2/2 just because I wanted to swing in an attack, but there was a very big threat that came down a turn later. And you learn from your mistakes as you make mistakes and as you cast spells and try to remove something and think it's the bad thing, and then all of a sudden realize, no, that's not the bad thing. So, on top of that, though, the other way of getting better is asking people as you play with them, be like, hey, did I play my deck right? How could I improve? You know, do you think I need to improve? Now, I wouldn't just ask just anybody, because everyone has their own thoughts and opinions. Some people aren't going to help you. Some people are going to be mean about it. But if you have some really close buddies and stuff like that, they can just sit there and be like, hey, yeah, so you probably should have done this instead of this. Was there anything I maybe asked? Was there anything I did wrong that I should have changed, maybe when casting a certain spell or whatever? Because maybe you don't see it. And early on in the game, that's how I learned quickly, was to ask people, be like, hey, did I make a mistake? Should I have done this instead of this? Like, yeah, you probably should have did this instead of that. And find people that can help you with that. I'd love to help you out if you have questions about your deck. You want to play ever? We're looking at the beginning of the year in January to start playing a lot more online Commander and having streams and be available to play with other people as well. So let me know if you're looking to reach out. We could try to play some games online. I go through some of these decks. I've got a wide variety of power levels, and honestly, I can play any of my decks against any power level and not overwhelm it. It's not going to be as fun, but I can take my CDH deck and basically make it go so slow, but I'm not going to do that because it's not fun for anybody to do. But if you got like a precon, I have precons. If you've got lower than that, I don't really have anything lower than a precon, but love to play with people, love to help people out, love to improve you. We've still got a couple more of these to go over. Two more things to try, 2 more weeks of this, and then we'll probably jump into some other things. But it's been a lot of fun talking about Commander. I absolutely love Commander. It is one near and dear to my heart. Commander, then it goes to Standard. Although Pioneer, Modern are fun too. Everyone has their own thing. I'm trying to get Standard to be back like Commander and have fun. So stay tuned for some more of those videos as well. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions about Commander, if you have any thoughts, things like that, let us know. We'd love to answer those questions for you. Thank you guys so much for being here as always. We'll see you next time.